Good morning, everybody, and happy today. Which apparently I think I didn't quite change all of my setup captions, so it is whatever Monday on here. So it's still Monday. We're having Monday issues. Um, so yesterday we had a lot of. Good morning, Donald. Good to see you this morning. Yesterday we had a lot of transmission issues and things like that. I'm hoping we don't have that today. We'll have to see. Um, we have a lot on our docket today. There's a lot of pieces that we need to go back and work on again because they just weren't up to snuff. You know what I mean? First one we're going to have to work on this morning is going to be Fred's piece, which came back into my shop because the problem with blacking out all of the pages, you can't read what the reference is. So they've got to be bulbs, and that's the characters that he has had in the past, which were um, like aliens or kind of that sort. So we're going to be doing that. Um, so we're gonna work on that one, which is the bulbs are alien-esque sort of people, and then that'll make this even funnier though. So I'm actually kind of on board with this plan. I think this will be great. They look like aliens. That'll be good. We've also got to rework one of the Earth Tau ones. We actually have to rework two of the Earth Tau ones. I don't think the painting is going well. I don't think I'm ready yet for painting. Not for cards. So we're going to go back to my normal style that I've done before with the manga-esque style. We're also going to finish up working on action lines, which we had done before. So I'm going to go on ahead and we're going to get started on this. We're going to just do this kind of thing. I wonder if I attract more attention for my show whenever I mistype what day it is. I always wonder these things. So, first things first on the docket is we're going to work on these. These two are bulbs, not humans. So, we're going to have to redraw them as bulbs, which should be funny. Bulbs then are it's a smaller one. Bulbs have these much smaller arms. So let's start with that. Like sort of a disproportionately small arm. Kind of freaky looking, right? So, and I'm not actually sure the bulbs have gender. So we'll have to figure that out. But we're going to go ahead and keep just the basis of this face in here. And erase. I'm going to use all of this proportion that we've already done, so we don't have to redo it. Right? There we go. Get much more dramatic in here. Go through here. The bulbs are I like the way that the book describes them as not aliens. They're aliens. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Right? So we'll do this, and we'll move this ear down. Did you say gone?
Got it.
Yeah. So, this will add to it. I'm actually going to go ahead and just clear the chest here. Because really, I don't feel like they have gender, honestly. There we go. So we're just clearing out this body shape like this. I think it's even funnier that they're wearing clothes. That makes it funnier too. There we go. And so essentially what we're doing is we're lengthening everything. Just like this. Right? I've met people like that too. You an alien? Which every time we talk about aliens, I get a kick out of the thought process here. But one of the things that cracks me up every time is thinking about that first episode of the newer versions of Doctor Who with Rose saying, "It's alien. It's alien." And the doctor going, "It's alien." Yeah, like, she's willing to accept it so long as you admit that it's an alien. So, I think it's funnier that they're. I mean, this was easier because they were already female, and females are smaller. So, let's move it a whole lot easier. I sound like a Ferengi. A female. But much longer fingers. Okay, now we've converted that one over to a bulb. Now we'll just need to do the other girl here and convert her to a bulb. This. And it's a little like Nick Cage right now. Just saying. It's kind of fine detail work, so I'm not talking a whole lot. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing this morning? We are going back and making corrections this morning. This morning is corrections day. Because last night I got a couple of pieces that just weren't working. They weren't working at all. Fred returned this piece with a, you put the wrong person in. And it was like, you're right, I did. So now we're doing this piece again. We're going to make every one of these much thinner people. Bulbs are apparently remarkably thin. So we're going to that would be my son, you can hear in the background, who is cleaning his room at full volume because he can't in fact clean his room. He can't do anything except at full volume, which is kind of frustrating. Makes it difficult to do the show. But it's alright. It's thin. So, I'm going through here and we're just trimming all of this body down. Like a lot. Bulbs look like aliens. They are classic grays. Even less legs. And like I was saying earlier, the benefit is these were already girls, teenage girls originally, which means that they're already very slender. So making them more slender actually isn't going to hurt this piece at all. Which, one can argue that I may have just said that teenage girls are aliens. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but I taught junior high. And so I'm just saying that, it's going to happen. Okay. There we go. Now they look more like aliens. I think it's funnier that they're wearing clothes. I don't know why I find that funny, but I do. Because I think the grays always don't wear clothes. In all of our lore about grays. So it makes it funnier if they're wearing clothes. I'm hoping Fred shows up before I finish this piece. And he's the one who was saying we need to kind of go back and over this piece. There we go. Now we've got much more Much better. Changing the bulbs actually wasn't that hard. Thought it'd be more difficult. Wasn't that difficult. But I do want to do his eyes. Looks like it's looking at him warily. What are you doing? There we go. Better. Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. I had a lot of pictures come back last night. It's kind of sad. But that's the nature of the beast, right? If you're a production artist, you have to be ready for pieces to come back into your shop. It's the nature of things. So, okay, I'm going to have to go close my door, and they're being really loud. Hang on. All right. Now we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this piece is about ready to roll itself back out. Some trees back here to give a little bit of feeling that something's going on. Some kind of background. All right. There we go. We look at this from the 10,000 foot level. I think that piece is pretty funny, actually. So we're doing good there. Okay, cool. Let's do this. All the way over here. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm missing a light. There we go. Look at that. Totally changes the thing, doesn't it? It's a nice little fill. While we're doing that real quick, I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to move on to the next piece. Okay, so 109 is clear. There we go. Now we'll move back to what we were working on yesterday. All right. So, yesterday we were working on this piece here, which has action lines. We were discussing the idea of action lines. So, where is that? Here? Move. Here? Yeah. So, action lines going on here. Let me just clear this out because it's not helping us. Okay, yesterday we were working on this piece, which I find very funny. We were discussing the idea and the concept of action lines, which is this red line going through the middle of this piece, right? The action line on this makes somebody who's doing this, which was our original sketch, right? Our original concept was this here. But we now are making it dramatic. We're adding drama and flair and all of that stuff. So, but looking at it, I've got a couple of things I really want to fix. Now that I've had a day to do this. Not the least of which is this towel is going to be like this. But this trapezius right back here needs to be more defined, right? Her body is moving along like this, which is great, but we're getting a lot more sort of definition issue through here. Okay. Now we've got this beautiful action line forming. Right? We're done, pretty much done with the sketch at this point in time. Feeling pretty good with my sketch here. I'm going to bring the towel back like this, and that'll be fun. And then we're going to do this with this part of the towel right here. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this, Control-Shift-T. And then we're going to put another layer on it, like this. This is my onion skin layer. You've heard me talk about onion skin layers before. And then we're going to do this. Right? Going with a comic ink brush. And we're just going to talk about like where everything is on this. Now that we've done the larger, broader strokes of this, we can do the more inner strokes sort of thing. So the eyes are always going to be, so here's the nose, here's her other eye. There's always going to be one eye apart here, even with the anime eyes, right? So we give her nose. We've got to remember that her nose is going to be, we're looking up her nose, so to speak here. So we want to do something like that, right? And her mouth will be right about here. And the mouth is always going to be like two little bubbles like this and one big bubble like that. Except you kind of want to actually put it on the actual line. But the way to do mouths and lips is this, and that. And then just draw that in, right? Draw. This one goes up and over, and that one comes down and around like that. Curl that one back around. So inside. So that's kind of the way that lips are generally done. Curl nose up. So it's going like this. Right. And then we're going to do the eyes. Now I sort of feel like this is the story we have already invented on this is that this is a secret agent. We've caught her in the bath. She was taking a bath, and so all she has done is drawn her rubber ducky. We like this story. This is a funny story. So she drew her rubber ducky to kill the intruder. But of course, she's got her rubber ducky, so there's that. Right, so there's this. I feel like looking at these eyes, I feel kind of like this eye is probably a little too close to the nose. I'm going to move it up just a little like that. There we go. Right. But I want to stay on this line. I don't want to lose this line. So we're going to just do this. There we go. Just like this. Then we'll give her eyebrow. She's serious. What frustrates me is when you're really close like this, you can't see if you're wandering off target until after you zoom out, right? That looks pretty okay. I'm not seeing a major problem with that, so we're okay. The ear is going to be on this same line. This is where the top of the ear is, and it goes along the cross of the head almost straight up. So it's going to be right about here, right? And I'm still sketching on this one a little, but not that much. We're not going to put a lot of detail in the ear just yet because I'm not 100% sure we're not going to have hair all over the place here. A little bit of a shape here to the bottom of the chin, like that. There we go. That's the ticket right there. So all I'm doing now is just cleaning up this ink, just making it smoother and clearer. When looking at the bottom of the face, we're going to have cheeks that are up here like this, right? I mean, that's the way it's going to be. We're looking up the cheekbones. So right through here, we've got these cheekbones that we're dealing with. So I'm going to shrink this down a little. And our lips are going to be forward, right? Not too much forward, but I'm going to have to round them around like this. And the thing about anime and manga is that we don't usually draw a lot of the mouth. So once this is all in, I'm going to get rid of this as a guide. I mean, this is just a guide to tell me what these lips are. Right? The truth is that her mouth is going to be like that. We're just going to get just the implication of a line in here. And this gets rid of all of this except for just the indication of the mouth. And I feel like the indication of the mouth needs to be forward. So. Right. Yeah. Because we never really, in manga style, the mouth is always understated. It's part of the beauty of the manga style. And we'll add in eyes. Right. So now we've got a face, right? Animal Crossing is addictive and calming. I'm having that problem with Um, City skylines. This is my new problem. I am such a sim guy. I love sims of all sorts. So we just want to make sure her eyes are going the same direction as the duck here. I feel like we can actually make this eye go a little bigger. So, and that would be good. Just like this. Just like this. Right? Usually I give 2 reflections in the eye. And it's kind of interesting. My old style of eyes was like that with a white piece in the middle. And I keep forgetting that I moved past that stuff. So there's this. Right? So now we've done that, and that looks really good and everything like that. And we're doing fine there. So we're going to go up here, and we're just going to put in our rubber ducky. This rubber ducky is awesome. And when you do inking, you want to be very confident about where your lines are. Right? Because we want to be extremely confident with these lines. Because it takes a lot of effort to fix them when we're not confident with these lines. Right, and we have a converging tangent up here, so I'm going to kill that. What is a converging tangent? Because that's a good question. Animal Crossing is better than City Skylines, huh? War has begun between Paul and God. You are not, in fact, the only one of my friends who actually does believe this, so I am willing to believe that that's probably true. Since I spent Sunday night on City Skylines until like 4 in the morning, I am of the opinion that I don't need to get into Animal Crossing because I fear that I probably won't get out of it. Sorry, I'm not having a show today. We're not drawing because I'm stuck in Animal Crossing. I don't think I like this line. This is the one I want here. Right? So we're just going to go ahead and do that. There we go. I think you just want misery loves company. I think you are drafted by this game and you want other people to join you. Which actually is not a lot of I mean, jokes here, but I don't think that's an issue. If you enjoy the game, please enjoy. Okay, so one of the things that I really want to highlight in this picture is that she stuck her finger in the duck's mouth as if the duck's mouth was the trigger. So I find that funny. It adds to this picture a little bit. It's a squeaky toy, so it's got the little hole for the squeaky toy, which is the noise that squeaky toys. So we will do this. Oh, okay. Well, hello, Donald's aunt. Welcome to the show. So what we're doing here is we're just working on the musculature. We've already done all of the structure underneath here, so I'm just pulling in that bicep. Here's the bicep on this, and then here's the deltoid. And I feel like looking at this, the way that I've got the structure of this going, I feel like I might have to bring that deltoid back. So I'm going to have to bring that deltoid back onto here, right? So now I'm going to bring it across to the collar. I'm going to bring it across to the collarbone. Don't hit undo, hit space. I'm going to bring it across to the collarbone. And going over here, we've got this other deltoid, right? And they're both going to meet in the collarbone right through here. How much of this is on the wrong layer? All of it. Well, there you go. That's all right. You know how we fix this? We fix this by merging these two layers together. But first, you bring this layer up to 100% so it can be merged. Control-Shift-E. Like this. And then we're going to take and we're going to just onion skin again. There's never a mistake in this instance. So this guy goes to multiply, and then this guy goes to 70%. There we go. That's how you fix that level. Alrighty. Now we want to put in her neck, which goes through here. This connecting line right through here, right by the clavicle. She's going to have some twisted neck cables which go this way like that. And that's these support ligaments that are right in the front. I think that if you mute on YouTube, it auto captions. I believe was what they said. Somebody was doing that at one point in time, and auto captioning, and we were having way too much fun with that because it was. We had fun messing with it, trying to get it to say funny things because we are, in our hearts, all of us somewhat 12. So there's always that. And thank you. So we're just rounding around here and doing this. So she has a towel on, but we're gonna finish the underside of the arm. So we've got this. This is part of her back right through here. Part of this going on, and then we're gonna bring it around for the elbow, right? When we're inking, we want to be confident, like that, and screw it up. When we're inking, we want to be confident in what we're doing. There we go. So I'm not 100. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to push back on the back of this towel. So the towel is just flipping around like this, right? So it follows the contour of her body. It follows the contour of her body. You want this line to indicate that it continued down this side. Follows the contour and comes back around like this. This makes it flip like this, right? And come along the front here, flipping this around too. And again, S-curves are always attractive. So anytime I can bring S-curves around, it's great. So this is a good set of curves through here. We get this great curve coming around like this. Right? Putting our legs like this. And we want to follow exactly where these legs went before. So I had already established in the sketch their legs are slightly bent in sort of that classic James Bond sort of style. So we're going to glutes. So I'm not happy with this turn right here. So we're going to come back and look around at this turn. Right? So if we follow the pattern of the towel, it's going to fold right here, right? And it's going to come back around. So maybe what I want is up like this. That's probably much more like what's going to happen. Is this. And the best part of working digitally is that you can't see my mistakes. They don't show up as well. Now we have a converging tangent. So I talk about converging tangents a lot. This is the back of the towel, and this is the front of the towel. And so the tangent's now converging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these lines that are coming in. Converging tangents confuse people. So I'll bring that down like that. There we go. And then that way we don't have a converging tangent. This tangent is not, in fact, converging. We have a lot of line work coming in there, but nothing major. The other thing is that this towel has folded back, so we want to make sure we have the inside of this fold in there too. So we're going to do that. Now we'll take a look at what we've got, right? All these folds are happening here, so we want to make sure that we indicate the body. The body is moving in like this, so we want to make sure we indicate that. She's bending her body back and around. Yeah, I know. It's just converging tangents. I think they've got, some kind of drugs you can take now to kind of get rid of those converging tangents if you have them. So, give your father condolences for me. One of the things I want to look at is on the underdrawing, I see the chest here, but on the top here, I'm seeing the breasts coming along like this. So I want to make sure I cover both of these in the same line, like that. So I want to make sure that I've got that. Otherwise, it's going to look like she's bent. Get bent. So we want to make sure that we clear those lines to line up with this under box. See, I've got the box under here, which tells me where her chest is. So when you look at this, that's actually from an artist known as Bridgman. That's his last name. And he did a thing called moving masses, right? So this will describe this, and then it'll get folded under right here. So fold the towel But Bridgman did he's one of the artists that I work pretty hard to follow. He's, I mean, as in like now, I do my work based on some of the stuff that I've read in his books. He passed away many years ago. I think he lived in the 1800s, early 1900s. But Bridgman talked about movable masses, and that's these boxes that indicate sort of the chest, and then another box that indicates the hips. And that gives us some motion, and it gives us the feeling of size and depth here, right? And have some depth going in here. Okay. Moving out onto the hand, we really want this to look like she's, you know, this is a James Bond picture, so everything's James Bondy on this. So, right, just like this. Right? So you look, and our thumbs are inside, to the inside. So I know I'm going to have to put her thumb right here. Right, just like this. There's one finger. We're going to do the palm. The palm has these two pieces on either side that need to be put in. Right, so we'll do that. And this is where her pinky is, right? Now, so now the middle finger is going to be right here. And we're going to put this finger. Ooh, that's a fat finger. This is why she can't text people. It's because she just fat fingers everything. Has problems. We know. Now, in the manga style, we don't always put in all the details. So that's part of the style. It goes there. We don't always put in all the details. So we've got kind of a problem going on here. Now, I'm just going to have to look at this and eyeball it because we didn't do a lot of good underdrawing over here. We tried really hard. Sean Conroy. Now, looking here, I can already see that part of my problem is that this thumb is not part of the hand like it should be. We'll come back and work on this. I can tell already that that's not going to cut it. We're going to have to redo the underdrawing up there. So, we're going to come back on it and redo the underdrawing at some point down here because this hand is just a mess. Hands are hard and difficult and nobody likes them. So we'll redo the underdrawing here in a minute. Okay, so we'll come back to that. But first, I want to go on ahead and let's describe her hair. So we'll go up here and we'll describe her hair. So we've already underneath here looked, and she's a Bond girl, so we've got kind of the super flowing hair like that. But maybe not that dramatic, but you get the idea. We're going to have a lot of good S curves on this. Right? We're going to have some going this way too. And we do have to remember that she just got out of the shower, so she's probably not going to have a lot of super awesome body with her hair. Because, I mean, just the way it goes. Ugh, what are we doing here? Does anybody know what we're doing? Anybody know what we're doing? We're definitely not following. Here we go. Of course, her hair. There we go. Much better. Here, we're going to do this. that's one of the reasons why I was saying we got to be careful. It does make me wonder: is this like a 22 caliber duck, or is this a 38 caliber duck? Maybe it's a duck '06. These things do make me wonder, right? So we're coming along underneath here. We're just changing the aspect of this so that it matches. We want it to match so it comes out like that. Right? We're going to be doing more like this because it's cool. Oh, we're going to run right off the rails, right there. That's how we went off the rails. Wondering how we went off the rails. That's how we went off the rails. Hair has to get thicker when it comes back around. So I'm going to be doing this. Just gathering strands of hair here. Because in anime, you have unreasonably long hair. Most anime is unreasonable, which I think is funny. But it, looks dramatic. In platypus. I think that fell flat there, David. I'm not sure. David says that caliber would be in platypus. In platypus. I don't know. So, does it quack when you pull the trigger? Probably. Odds are good that it quacks when you pull the trigger. Come around here. We're just putting in this hair. So. And I'm kind of moving out here because these are very large strokes. Right? The brush is really wide. So from here, it's going to be a lot straighter and easier for me to just, from these long strokes like this. It's harder to get a target. So if I needed to hit a target, it'd be harder to do that. Hello, Fred. We already fixed your picture. Turning them into bulbs actually was entertaining and funny, and we did that all at once a minute ago. So, uh-oh. Here we go again. Did you guys hear the beep-a-doop from this guy dropping? Let's see whether I can bring up the controls here and get it back on. Nope. Looks like I can't save it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to save, and then we'll have to do this. Sometimes I think there we go. We needed them to be pen die. What's the story? All right, one more time. Okay. Oh, no. Boy, I can't catch a break, can I? tablets out of commission. I'll power cycle the tablet. It's almost like this thing has been trying to level up. Well, guys, we are having an issue here. Tablet has died, and I don't know what to do about this. The tablet's still responding. I mean, the tablet's working, obviously, but the pen just stopped working mid-show. Well, that's frustrating. Okay, so tablet's not working. So this may be the week of 1 hour shows, because I think the only way to fix this is going to be to restart the machine completely, which of course is going to kill the show. So I figure what we need to do here is figure something else out. I think we are running to a point now where this computer just needs to be upgraded. And I think that we are just running out of... I think mostly what's happening is, I think it's the power supply. And I think the power supply doesn't have enough power to power all the little widgets and things like that that are now connected to this computer. And I think that I could probably relieve some of that pressure by putting one of these multi-USB outlets on it, so that the multi-USB would power all of the objects and things. So we've made it to here. And I'll go on ahead and power cycle my computer completely. And I'll take, like, this ring light doesn't need to be on the computer system. I can power my speakers by a secondary power. It doesn't need to be powered by the computer. And that would help a whole lot, I think. So there's some things I can do to make this work a little bit better. This is kind of a thing that's happened a little bit often. So we're going to have to see what's going on here. I did want to do this. I bought this yesterday, which I thought was kind of cool. This is a nifty little holder for all of my pins. The reason I'm saying this is I've been thinking about doing a live show where I work on this, but this thing comes apart like this, and then it snaps together, which is why all of the pins are sorted in here brustophonically. For those of you who want to learn a word today, the word for the day is brostophonic. Brostophonic means like oxen. But what it means is that it goes back and forth like this, like an ox plows a field. So that's, as opposed to linearly, that's brustophonically, for those of you who are wondering. So these are all my Copics, and I was realizing I actually have quite a diverse number of Copics. I didn't think I did. I felt like I was very limited on my Copics, but I'm not. I'm not limited on my Copics at all. Let's see if it came back. It did not, in fact, come back. I see something change every time I do this. So I'm wondering what the story is. That's interesting. That's even weirder. That seems like that's probably a problem with Windows Ink. Because every time I put it's registering a click because I see it moving away to something else every time I click it. Huh. Yeah, I think it's just borked. So, well, there's that. We'll get it. We'll get it back. I think Windows is probably having a problem reading it. But if this continues, and continues tomorrow, we're going to do a Livedraw show where I draw live. And that should be good, because I can do that. That's the point behind showing you the Copics. I just bought this box at Michael's yesterday. Right now, Michael's is doing a sale. Things are, all of these containers and containment things like that are about 50% off, which is good because that's actually like a $50 box. And I wasn't willing to pay $50 for a box to hold all of my markers because that's ridiculous. But I was willing to pay $25 for a box to hold all of my markers. So there we go, guys. I'm sorry that we're going to have to cut this show short, but clearly we're having problems today. And I'm kind of bummed because Donald's showing his aunt the show. And, of course, we're having a technical on this. And I apologize for that, guys. We'll fix it. We'll get it squared away. And then we'll be back to normal again tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and just pull items off of the power supply here and then put it on. I've got a little plug that has just USB outlets on it. So I'll just go plug that into the wall and run that there. You know, the Copics really are the Games Workshop of the art world. But I got into Copics, to be fair, when Joyful Honda had deals on Copics, which Joyful Honda is a store in Japan, and it's kind of like a Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's just an art store, but the Joyful Hondas usually also had appliances, strangely enough. So they'd have the appliances were on level 1 and all of the art supplies were on level 2. And every so often, the Joyful Honda near my apartment would have sales on Copics. So I'd go in there and pick up Copics for 300 yen a piece, which is about $3. So that was half price for what normally I think they're $750 or 800 yen or something like that. So getting closer to the $10 a pen sort of mess. Also, Copics have recently started with these, I think they're called chows. Yeah, chows. These little teeny guys here, which, I don't know, they're kind of cool. They're little and they're smaller and they don't quite put up as much. I really like these big pens. These are my normal fare. But I don't feel like the chows do quite as much as I can't lay down as much in there, but I'm working in a smaller field nowadays anyway. So I used to work on huge 11 by 17s. Now I'm not working on 11 by 17 anymore. I do the inking here, so all the inking looks good and all the inking works, and then I print it out in a smaller format and then color it with my Copics. So there is that. If you people are I love sketching too. I love sketching with Copics. They look nice. They have a very watercolory feel. Okay, folks, if you are joining me just now for the 11 o'clock session, I am having a technical issue. My tablet's not working at the moment, and I don't know what the story is, but the tablet just jumped off a cliff. So we're going to have to reboot the computer completely, and that takes some time with this computer. The computer is just about at a point where it needs to be upgraded. And I'm thinking the biggest upgrade we're going to have to make for it is not only changing out the hard drives, but I think it's time for an OS upgrade. So there's that. We're kind of going to go for that. So I apologize for having cut the show short today, and we cut it short yesterday for Computer Technical as well. So we clearly have something we need to work on. So thank you for joining me today, and I'm sorry we have to cut this short, but we'll get back to it. And I'll see you again tomorrow when we will attempt to finish this piece. We're only 2 hours in, remember, so no matter which way we look at it, we're only 2 hours in with this. We're not even really 2 hours in on this piece, and it's already looking pretty good and pretty solid. So we'll go through the rest of the process on that. We'll start working on a couple of the earth towel pieces. Sadly, I think that Alex is actually joining me right now for working on earth towel, but I can't do any work without the tablet. So the tablet's offline, and we'll have to fix that. But I can tell it's just borked. The information's goofy, and I think it's actually Microsoft Ink that's having a problem, and it's not actually the tablet itself. So there is that. My cat has joined. So this is Dove. Hi. Say hi to everybody, Dove. Hi, everybody, Dove. There you go. So she decided to join me and see what I was doing. So there's that. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys all joining me for the show today, and I am sorry we're going to cut this short. I will see you all tomorrow, and we will talk about this then.